What's a cognitive listener?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the cognitive listener philosophy, or what we call as well the level 5 listening, is being able to step outside of your own ego. It's being able to step outside of your own head and step into the mind, the body, the soul of the other person you're speaking to. A lot of the time people listen and they listen to only respond. They're not really actually listening to pay attention to the person. Where most people on the other side of things just listen to kind of ignore, and they only kind of half pay attention. Those are the people who are sitting like on their phone and just saying, while you talk. To be a level 5 listener, what you have to do is you have to ask questions so you can be influenced by the person, so that way you can create influence. And the reason we want to do that is because we want to be able to go from that external statement, like I said previously, into the internal belief and desire. And the only way to do that is ask strategic questions based off of the responses of the person and move yourself to a place to where you understand from a deep level what they're really struggling with, why, how to connect the dots, and understand the triggers along the way, so you reframe what the problem they think is to the real major problem at hand.
Well, I do feel like, based on your answer, I have to reference something you say so that I can prove that I'm a good listener. But you did say about influence, and a lot of these conversations, at least sales conversations I have, is the interesting, should we say, difference between influence and manipulation. So, have you given that topic any thought?
Yeah, so when you think about influence is the ability to, in my opinion, and how I describe it, is the ability to open up your mind to other ideas. To be influenced is to allow other ideas and thoughts to enter your domain. And when you influence someone else, they're dropping in sales, they're dropping their sales resistance and allowing themselves to be influenced by you because you've built trust. And now when it becomes manipulation is when you take advantage of that and you start helping them and trying to make them believe something that isn't real, something that doesn't exist. You're manipulating them to make a decision that's in your best interest, but might not be in their best interest.
So the main difference, you'd say, is in the fact that it's not in their interest to do what the outcome is.
Yeah, the main interest is intent. If your intent is to influence someone without necessarily an outcome, then you can influence. But if your intent is to influence someone to change their mind, to force a decision, that's when we enter manipulation.
So what does a typical inquiry look like for you on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so what does it look like when someone comes into our sales system?
What's your day look like, generally speaking?
Yeah, my day looks like, so I wake up around 8 o'clock in the morning, our time over here, and I'll usually grab some coffee and just hang out for a little bit before I start my day. My day usually starts off with meetings, and then it goes into a couple podcasts usually, and then it goes into managing our processes and really making sure everything's okay from the highest level, talking to our higher level managers, making sure they're managing processes in the business across the board. And then at the end of the day, I just kind of wrap up and I go do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and enjoy myself. For me right now, it's less about working 24/7 and more about making sure I manage and maintain our team, because our team kind of runs the business, and then making sure I take care of myself and spend time with my 3-year-old daughter. That's probably the most important thing for me right now, is to be there for her, so I can be a dad who's actually present and a dad who gets to spend radical amounts of time with her and look back and realize how lucky I was to be able to be in this position.
Well, you referenced previously your 4,000 sales conversations, and then based on what you said about what your typical day looks like, there's quite a contrast there. What's the reason for that contrast, would you say?
Yeah, so that was the beginning, and we've scaled up, and that's not the position I'm in anymore. So in the beginning, it was me doing everything basically, because I started the business, I was the founder, I had to make everything work. And then as we scaled up, I was able to scale myself back. I was able to remove myself off calls, remove myself off the inner workings of the business, and move myself into a place to where I can actually be the high-level CEO, the founder, the person responsible for the vision and growth. And so remove that contrast is the idea of going from a solopreneur to someone with an actual functioning structured business.
And you feel good about that?
Yeah, I feel great about that. I think the idea in entrepreneurship is you want freedom. But in order to build freedom, you have to have structure. And in order to have that structure, you have to remove yourself from the process. And I think one of the biggest struggles entrepreneurs themselves have is removing the ego to remove themselves from the process. Because a lot of people I talk to say that nobody can do it like them. Nobody's going to be able to do it as good as them. And in reality, that's true. But also in reality, if you want to achieve the freedom that most of us want, you have to accept the fact that nobody's going to be able to do it as well as you.
Yeah, great point. Well done for being able to remove yourself from your business anyway. I'd say that's always an accomplishment. You feel proud?
Yeah, I feel like it's one foot in front of the other. So I feel proud, I feel good about it, but also I don't feel like I need to get lazy. And so for me, I still need to push the mid-level of our team to be able to push the bottom level and push the vision of the business and continuously reinvent it so we stay abreast of changing times. Because I think when you get lazy and lackadaisical is when your business starts to decline.